Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will be covering Granblue Fantasy Beelzebub Raid. First and foremost, please do not consider this as a complete guide, as I'll be covering general items and lists of my experiences and providing some tips and tricks to help newer players clear the raid. I will also be linking several videos and references that I find actually very useful for newer players in the description channel below, so please do check them out. I believe they are also very helpful as supplementary materials to this video. The Beelzebub raid is one of the few newest raids that have been included as part of year 2020. It is required for a part of the 5-star uncapped of the Astro Weapon series. The difficulty of this raid is considered at a level similar to Lucilia's HL, although slightly less due to the nature that this raid is more independent in contrast to the Lucilia's HL where you're relying on your team for phalanx rotations. For this one, this raid it is a lot simpler, a lot more independent and a lot free-form flowing in contrast. In order to clear this raid, there are several requirements that a player must be able to achieve in order to clear the raid successfully due to the specific constraints of this raid. It is important to design your team such a way that you can achieve all 4 requirements using whatever members which you can have. Since this is an elementalist raid, so you can use any of the 6 elements available, it is just more important that you achieve the requirements in the safest manner to clear this raid. The Tormentor class is usually used for this purpose because it is known for its flexibility options due to the first skill to achieve all the requirements listed. Miserable Miss and standard attack down, defense down debuffs are resisted. You will need the stackable versions in order to debuff successfully. Next, Phalanx, all elemental damage cuts and Veil are ignored. However, element switch methods still work but should not be relied entirely upon to clear the raid. Third, the new Chain Burst mechanic in the V2 battle system is important and you must keep track of it in order to clear the trigger omens within the raid. Most important is to avoid losing characters, even at the cost of DPS. Beelzebub heals by several percent, clears debuffs and buffs himself upon you losing a character. This effect stacks for multiple characters and can sabotage the raid, especially within the later stages. Trance levels is a buff status similar to Lucilia's HL raid. It has a minimum level of 0 and a maximum of 3. It goes up by 1 upon successful Beelzebub OG. Each level boosts up multi-attack and attack power for Beelzebub, especially so at level 3. You can bring it down by 2 by clearing an Omen. Do not let it get to 3 or it's going to be a very painful raid. Thus, managing trance level is important to keep your team alive. In order to clear this raid with good probability of success, it is important to have high HP, ideally within the 40,000 range or more. This gives you a safer margin to work with as a character can be one-shotted by a triple attack. Elementalist auto attacks should also target for more than 150k damage at the maximum debuff applied. This is to ensure that there is enough DPS to clear the raids, as one of the triggers gives you a limitation on that aspect. For raid summons, you can select them based on either of the 4 targets listed here. Mirror Image, for example, helps immensely with survival as Beelzebub's auto attacks are single target and do not pierce Mirror Image. This could be Tiamat, Raphael or any other alternatives for example. Damage boosts, buffs, debuffs and delays are tools that can assist to cover some needs that your party doesn't have. Typhon, Titan are useful options to stay alive. Michael is useful to provide dispel and delay option. Having Killin is also immensely useful for those who have characters such as Lobelia, Siete and Io. Charge bar batteries help in chain burst management and keep you ready to clear omens when needed. Sariel, Nobio, CC, Huanglong, Uriel are good examples for considerations. Healing is considered the lowest priority due to the notion idea of avoiding taking hits as much as possible. However, in such cases, Lucifer is always one of the better choices. This section covers the list of most important triggers that you need to be prepared for this raid, which is Chaos Caliber, Karma, Langerland Field, Black Spear, Chaos Legion, and King's Religion. Chaos Caliber happens upon turn 1 after the start of the battle. This is fixed and guaranteed. You require 30 hits to clear the Omen. An alternative would be to use options such as Zoe's Conjunction, Granoa's Sacred Shield, or an all-ally substitute as a sacrifice to survive the first turn. You can also use Guard in order to tank the damage if there is no other option. However, guarding renders your members stunned for 1 turn and can be quite dangerous. Karma damages and more importantly renders you summonless for 12 turns. Karma also subjugates you when you are less than 50% HP. Subjugated characters cannot move and have higher risk of aggro and also getting killed in the process. There are 2 fixed karma triggers at 75% and 60% HP. Raid members can choose to split the DPS to clear specific karma timings. 75% karma clearers will push to 61%. The 60% team will then push on to 50%. Usual common formation setups are usually a 4-2 setup to handle the karmas. Upon hitting 50% HP, Beelzebub will erase all present debuffs and gain 5 buffs. The team is required to dispel the buffs, reapply debuffs, and handle Langerland Field in their own manner. During this phase, be very careful of the repel debuff. Multi-attack with echoes can outright kill characters during this stage. In order to break the Langerland Field, you have 2 choices. You can do an Ogi burst of 5 million damage to break the field, or guard for 4 turns. Also during this phase, do not use debuff or attack skills while in the Langerland Field, or there will be a painful black glow of plain damage hit across your party. Black Spear doesn't hurt much in terms of damage, but it inflicts you a set of debuffs which makes you unable to guard with defense down debuff and also less maximum HP stackable. Usually on its own it is not that what is very painful, but usually it's the follow-up Chaos Legion is what can kill you afterwards, which is a high damage trigger, and one of the ways to survive it is actually using guard, but where Black Spear prevents you from guarding causes the problem, so to speak. Furthermore, if Chaos Legion must not be done at trance level 3, or the plain damage effect will wipe you out. For King's Religion, Beelzebub Raid actually has a similar mechanic to Lucio's HL The End, where you are limited by the number of characters that can die. Instead here, you are limited by the number of turns you can take and perform actions. Each Beelzebub Raid has a total of 180 turns. In a full party of 6, each player will have a maximum of 30 turns to use. Upon passing 30 turns, aka turn 31, King's Religion will be triggered. Failing to kill Beelzebub before activating King's Religion will be a party wipe. In case of this situation, you should stop at turn 30 and tell your raid members that you cannot move, and let them handle the rest of the fight. This section is to explain how I design my party for you to consider how to design your own teams to achieve your own team needs. As you can see in this picture here, I have Six, Tanya, Fairy, Valentine Clarice, and Vikala. Six is acting as my main DPS and aggro tank. He absorbs a lot of the damage taken and also lowers triggers by his dodge all on Ogi effect. Tanya acts as my stackable death down source, provide hit counter for Chaos Caliber, and also a dodge delay to buy me time to avoid triggers and also mitigate damage by her high dodge rate. Fairy provides me with Echo for Chaos Caliber, Charge Bar, and Hostility Redirect to 6 while providing extra DPS damage buffs. Sub-members are more flexible in this option, and ideally you do not want to use them. Clarice provides secondary mirror image and a charge battery source for me. Vikala provides a multi-hit, a dodge tank, and Ogi power if need be. You can also try character options that provide support from the backline, such as Octopus Crest or the passive EMPs. Here I list my sub-skills and sacred gears used for this raid as a part of the Tormentor class. Retaliation Reprise is a good option in order to provide me a leeway to reuse skill 1 whenever I need it, because due to sometimes the cases where a delay or debuff is not applied successfully, or I might need gravity, or I might need mirror image, this is an option to provide a backup second try. Devotion is used in order to redirect hostility to other characters in order to protect characters that may not have mirror image, or maybe you can also capitalize on their dodge all effects. I tend to use this on 6 in order to capitalize on his dodge all on Ogi effect. The Decimate subskill is used for me to use actually as part of the first turn Chaos Caliber trigger, as my team lacks consistent hit counts to clear that challenge on its own. As for Sacred Gears, the most important Sacred Gear that I use is usually the Smoke Bomb for mirror image, the Powders for delays, and the Draft in order to provide full charge activation to provide full the main hand effects. I use the Attack Boost Knife on Overdrive as it can help me to break the Langerland field at 50%. The Knife for Gravity is also a good backup to providing gravity for the team if your main team does not have a good source of gravity, as this gravity provides a very important time to help support and avoid the triggers and delay them accordingly. For your team on the Sacred Gears, choose what meets your needs best. Useful alternatives that are not shown here is the Healing Bandages or the CA Reactivation Drafts. In this section here, I describe what grid and summon that I use for this raid. It is a standard Magna based build with a Parazonium main hand in order to have the successful main multi-attack, including the Hollow Sky for debuff success rate boost for the Tormentor class. So this is pretty much a very standard generic M2 in most of part of it, so from here on you should be able to do decent damage with this. As for summons, I use Sariel, Huanglong, Bahamut, and CC from the Code Geass side story event. This is purpose for these 4 summons is actually Bahamut to provide me attack buffs and damage, Sariel and CC to give me charge buff for my chain burst management, Huanglong as well for the chain burst management at below 50%, where the phases where you have Black Spear and the like. Let's get started now, shall we? Within the first turn here, as the rest of the team actually is coming in, and as you can see here, we have one member that's still out of the raid coming in from the outside. Meantime, what I'm doing is actually preparing for the first turn with Chaos Caliber, where I am setting Egg Hostility on Seops, so as to make sure that the rest of the team do not get hit. Prepare Fairy's third skill also for damage, Ghost Cage for the echoes, first skill, meanwhile also for Tormentor, first skill, Mirror Image, and Ogi Battery due to the Parazodium main hand for multi-attack buff. So meanwhile here now I'm here standing by, actually waiting for the team to provide the attack stackable debuff before we start moving. After doing this first turn, Chaos Caliber will appear, and in order to clear the Almond, I prepare a 30 hit setup, which is with Sacred Gear and all Tanya and all their relevant skills here. This part now, Chaos Caliber is now cancelled and cleared. Now it's time for us to prepare for 75%. Unisonic is a 3-hit single target trigger that can be blocked by mirror image quite safely. So for this purpose, usually I will use 6 to just absorb all the hits and make it easy, because upon Ogi, the Beelzebub will gain a buff to counter upon damage. So 6 is also very good for countering this due to the nature of his counter claw. As you can see, the Trunks level has increased by 1, he has gained the counter on damage, and I am probably able to cancel it easily with this method. As you can see, due to the nature that I'm not refreshing, this raid has been going very fast and doing DPS. So I'm now currently at the stage where I need to do the Karma trigger. So in order to prepare for the trigger, I am currently at 46 chain bar, charge bar. So now I need to quickly prepare. I have one goal before the trigger starts. So this is where I use the Ogi activation in order to help me and get the charge bar needed. And with this attack full 4-man Ogi, I now clear the 75% karma charge. From here, 75 to 60 is where I should be DPSing until 60, where another group of people will cover the 60 to 50%. During this phase, usually the triggers can be delayed and should be delayed as much as possible, because you can either have Karma or Chaos Caliber depending on the status at hand of the charge bar triggers. So in order to avoid the 60% trigger, I hold and wait at 62% so that I do not trigger it by accident. From here on, this is more of a waiting phase until the 50%, when Beelzebub will remove all the buffs, gain 5 buffs, and then will trigger the Langolier field in the next turn after a match. Also, this Black Flies triggers, as you can see, is a 6 hit, which can be delayed, and ideally you should not want to receive any triggers so that you can keep the Trunks level counters low as much as possible. So now we have reached the 50%, 5 buffs have came up, so the rest of the team now is dispelling the buffs so that the Urias on the team can start debuffing. As you can see, it hurts without guard. As you can see now, Langolier field has triggered. I have 2 options right now as hand: break it through for 5 million or to guard 4 turns. As my team does not have the charge bar for it, I choose to guard 4 turns, play safe and do not sabo the rest of the team. During the Langolier field, each repel is about 2k damage of plane damage. The more instances there is though, the bigger the plane damage effect, so be careful if you're trying to do damage anyhow. Summons can be used during the Langolier field, so you can, if you have a Lucifer or you need healing or whichever, you can use this option. Here, as gravity has run out, I have chosen to support the team by reapplying gravity with the sacred gear. As you can see, even an auto single without trance level 1, the autos hurt a lot if you're unlucky. This is why you should have as much HP as you can to have a safe margin, or you can use garrison to bring up the defense. And now, this part, with the most important part now I'm trying to prepare, is actually for the 30% where Black Spear will be coming soon. So, which is I need a full chain burst to clear. Just execution is a 24 hit which can be dodged if used by dodge all. So hence here, this is why I use 6 for this phase. And mirror image to prepare for the rest of the teams, a safety net again. Mirror image. Here, as you can see, we are approaching towards the 30% and below now, so that means the Black Spear was triggered. And so I'm now here just trying to prepare for the Black Spear and trying to make sure that I have enough OG burst so that I can cancel it accordingly. And so with 73% with 3 ogres, it is more than enough to clear the chain burst requirement. And now we have Chaos Legion, which one way to defend it without chain burst is to guard against it. Damage for my team was approximately around 12k, 8 to 12k. So do take note if you try to guard this method. And due to the nature of the raid where the DPS has gone down, now we have reached also another Black Spear. So due to the nature of that, I do not have a chain burst ready, so I have to accept that I have to take some damage and absorb as much as I can. This long spell or dry movement is actually more for me checking around with the rest of the team in chat, in trying to find out what is going on and who is going moved and whatsoever, to make sure that we are on sync with each other. As there's also 10% is also upcoming, so that's where again another Chaos Legion would appear. So for this raid, based on the chat I received that some of the team members are having a bit more difficulty, so I needed to chip in on the effort. So I was looking based on my HP, I was probably able to take Black Spear, but however, I will probably have difficulty if I get the debuff. So in a hand, that's why I managed to look at my summons and I just realized that I have Huang Long already. I can prepare a chain burst to cancel accordingly. And then as you can see, suddenly the HP went up from 7% to 16%. This is because several members of the party had died. So when you see a big jump like that, it can be quite dangerous to handle. So currently what I had agreed with another member is he is trying to prepare a Lobelia burst. In the meantime, so I'm just also double checking actually the number of turns I have remaining, which is 20. So I still have plenty of moves left to go. Yes, as you can see here now, I'm currently in overdrive and at 4% HP now with 1 Chaos Elegant appears, and I do not have the ability to clear, so I decide to wait and let the rest of the team push through. And again, Gravity did not succeed. So as you can see, all the Tormentor debuffs do not have 100% success rate. So this is why the sub skill is actually very helpful to get a second chance, so that you can recover from such problems. And here we have a lot of waiting, and presto. And that is all for the video. I hope this is helpful for you all that's interested to do Beelzebub raids. If you like this video, please do leave a comment, like and subscribe. And hopefully for more future video updates and content for Granblue Fantasy. Thank you for watching and see you again.